Hey guys, welcome back to Vancouver Talk Mate. I'm your host Matiibrahimi. Today in the studio we have a special guest, Milad Rajabi, who have came from Afghanistan and then he have been through several countries and then also he have a podcast, a platform which he have a lot of refugees and also he is helping people to know what are the stage that they have to go through when they're coming to a new country. Let's hear from him first. Welcome to Vancouver Talk Mate. I'm really happy that I have you today.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mate John. Thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be in this podcast and share my knowledge and share my story as a newcomer in this indigenous land. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we know that you have been to United Nations and also you always supporting people who are newcomers, and also you are so passionate about everything in Vancouver. I have seen that you're going to some events and you want to be involved with community, and then also we have seen that sometimes you want to even care about homeless people or some people who are really don't know what to do in their life. You want to give them hope. I'm really honored that I have you today. So let's start with here. You moved here as a refugee and had to work several jobs, like survival jobs. And what was the hardest part and what made you to go through all of these and stand and be here where you are?
Thank you, Mate John. That's a great question. I feel like each journey has its own struggles, as we know. Each and every refugee that comes to this country suffers a lot and go through a lot of struggles and difficulties. Myself, when I came, Mate John, in 2023, as you know, we have been in touch since 2023, and before that, I remember it was my first week in Canada, downtown Vancouver. I printed 50 resumes and I was distributing in different supermarkets and different places. And there I recorded one video of myself. I still have it. In that video, I cried and I mentioned, where am I? What am I doing in this country? And the reason was because whenever I used to give my resume to London Drugs or Costco or other places, they were like, oh, we're full. We're not hiring right now. But I did not give up. I did not give up for the first 1 or 2 weeks. I kept distributing that 50 resumes, and luckily, in the last day that I was distributing, I got a job in London Drug. That was my first job.
I know.
And then after that, I started applying for other jobs that I started, and then I got a job at Blue College. Which that happened because of the connection that I had, which that will come in later conversation how I got that job. But yeah, it wasn't that easy. I had my struggles, but it was beautiful, and the reason was because right now, whenever I sit with someone who is new in Canada, I'm like, I want to show you a video of myself in 2023, not that long ago, 2.5 years ago. I was distributing this much of resume, and right now I have knocked each and every door for an opportunity, and I got it. If it was a job, scholarship, opportunities for youth, advocacy, engagement, and awareness in the society.
So there are a lot of people who are just starting their life and they stack with this survival job because whoever comes to Canada or any other countries, they are starting from survival jobs, like working in a restaurant or somewhere, and then they stuck on that point. What made you to go through all of these and keep you pushing to go forward and look for more opportunities?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mate John. I always tell to people, think big. Do not think small. Keep high standard for yourself, for your life, for your family, for your future. Whatever you do, keep a high standard and think big. it's always good to start from a retail job, from a minimum wage job. I'm not even saying, for the folks that are watching me, I'm not even saying that it's a bad thing to work for a minimum job, but you deserve better. If you're educated, if you're someone who completed your bachelor course and you're going to do your master's, or if you think big, you should not stay in minimum wage jobs. And the reason, because you will not be able to survive living in Canada. The only secret that I had was I thought outside of the box. Think outside of the box. Think big, go for opportunities, meet people that think big. Like yourself, Mate John.
Oh, thank you so much.
Meet people that are successful in their life, go on social media, ask people to advise you, meet people from nonprofit organizations, meet people in the community centers and the libraries, and see how fast they're going. And one of the other things, I'm sorry if I'm making my responses too long.
No, it's all good.
Thank you. I remember in 2023, it was my first time in Granville downtown that I was distributing resumes, and I looked, and I stood back and I looked at the main street downtown near Granville, like the intersection, I mean. And I looked for 5 minutes how people were walking fast. What I mean is by walking fast in their life and in looking for opportunities. I stood back and I kept looking at them. One was rushing, one was creating ideas, the other one was inventing something in their head. And I could see that. And the reason was I could see how serious they were. I was like, look at all these people. They haven't reached to this life easily. They thought big. They thought outside of the box.
Exactly. Even I noticed mostly the jobs that I got was through connections instead of like sending my resumes or going and giving my resumes. So that was one of the biggest points. Yeah, exactly. That works great. And as you said, like I even saw people are running toward work and they are never going to watch what is happening in their environment because they're too much focused on the things that they're doing. And like sometimes I feel that we're working as a machine. Oh my God. So you have spent like more than 5 years as a social worker, I guess, and like settlement worker. So what do you think? What is the biggest gap in our system for immigrants and like homeless people? What was the gap or the point that you have found the whole time that you worked?
Thank you, Mate John. I feel like this is my favorite question, I would say, although I love all the questions that you're asking. One of the components that I always think about, why would newcomers and refugees are not building up themselves? Or what is the reason them staying in the same stages? Or some of them even becoming homeless? If not homeless, they become in a stage that they don't get an employment, they don't find a job, they don't find housing. What is the cause of? What is the reason behind that? So, as someone who worked in settlement department for a longer time, I worked with refugees and newcomers, not only in Canada, but earlier in other countries. I found out that they do not think big. Again, I would say the same thing. They do not think big. They think they're small. They think they're refugees. They think they're newcomers, and they stay in the same place. And I want to tell you something else. And I have always told to my clients, I want you to think big. I know you came from another country, from a war, from a country there was a lot of issues, but now I want you to build up different life. I want you to go out there, knock that door, apply for that scholarship. I want you to go to the library, talk to the folks that have got a prize. I want you to go and make a video, make a podcast like yourself and like myself, Mate John.
Oh my God. Yeah. The only thing I'm trying with these podcasts are because I want everyone to know what were the tips that people became successful. And they have to know everyone went through all these challenges and these stays, and they shouldn't be like stuck in some point and then they think that's it.
Yeah.
So that's why, and one of the reasons that I wanted to do it, and I really love the way that we want to do something for the community.
Yeah. Thank
so
you.
You have built like a great career, and also I saw in your LinkedIn that you are trying to find a job in a government role. And then how important it is to have a leader who have been through all these experience as an immigrant. What do you think? How important it is to have someone in public service as a leader, and then he have been like through all these stages of like being an immigrant and coming to a new country. What do you think? Is it so important?
Well, about the pieces where people, or like myself, are. I have always told people that if you want to get a government job, you should build a good education, because for government jobs, most of the time, having that education piece is one of the big pieces that you can put on your resume, which is very, very important. On another piece, on another level, is having connection, which is very important. I feel like working for government gives you a lot of stability in your life, I would say. And getting into government jobs are oftentimes it's quite difficult. It's competitive. Not necessarily saying you cannot do it. You can always apply and go for it. Most of the time, for refugee claimants that are watching me right now, you would not be able to oftentimes apply for government jobs, because oftentimes they give opportunities for permanent residents and Canadian citizens. However, in the meantime, if you're watching this amazing podcast, build up yourself in the meantime. Get that certification, get that degree done. In upcoming years, you can get one of those jobs. One of the other things I wanted to say, Matijan, from the previous part, that I'm so sorry that I'm putting in this part. Oftentimes, I saw most of the newcomers, they oftentimes they only think about that, oh, if I get an income assistance or welfare from a ministry, I would be able to survive, and I would just stay like this. But I want you to think outside of the box.
Exactly.
If you're watching this, please, I kindly request you, refugee claimants, newcomers, anyone, from Afghanistan, from Iran, from Gaza, from Palestine, from Ukraine, from South Sudan, any of you, if I missed any of you, please do not only stay with the income assistant. Go find a job, find a job and work on it. And the reason, because if you keep staying with the income assistant with that money, you would not be able to think outside of the box. And your children or your friends or your cousins or your family would also learn from you. The only reason that a lot of newcomers that you see successful, being in a stage, being in a politics, being in an office job, because they thought outside of the box, they built up that education, they did not stay or just looked for government support.
Exactly. And it's not a lot of money. Like, it's just $1,000.
Yes.
I've seen people, they cannot even survive with that. They just have to pay the rent, and then they are stuck in with their life, what they should do. So yeah, that's a great thing. And always be optimistic and positive. Be curious, but always positive, because the things that we are thinking, that will happen one day. If you think negative, that will happen. If you think positive, that will happen. So always be positive.
Right.
If he could do it, you can do it as well. Actually, if we could do it.
Thank you, Matijan.
Okay. So I know you are speaking like 4 languages. You speak English, Farsi, Turkish, and also Hindi.
A little bit.
A little bit. How much that helped you to like get connected with new people and like support vulnerable people in BC?
Yes. Wow. I don't know how you found out about all of that, but I'm glad.
I dig in a little bit here and there.
You're very smart. You should be more like Mate. Smart. His research is something else. I always admire that. About the advantages or skills that I would say that I have is my language skills, and me being an extrovert individual in my workplace and also in my personal life and in public. I feel like, Matijan, it has helped me so much to build up connection with people so easily. And the reason is because in my workplace for the past couple of years, I have seen people speaking Turkish, Hindi, Farsi, Pashto, and all these beautiful languages that I love all of them. And oftentimes I think about like, oh, why would I not learn new languages? And the reason is because I always believe learning a new language is it's a bridge that you make between one person to the other person. And actually, my family taught me one of the things that I want to mention here, that when I was a kid, my family taught me that, Milad, if you know one language, you're a one person. If you know two languages, you're a two person. And if you know five languages, you're five person. And that's actually correct. Very true.
That's true. Actually, I've been to another countries. It's so hard if you don't know the language, but if you know it, it's so amazing. Like you live there as someone who is like local.
Yeah.
So we know that you have a podcast called called Refugee Talk.
Refugee Talk. You called me.
I'm sorry. And it's like focusing through like refugees and stuff. What inspired you to launch the Refugee Talk podcast?
Thank you. About the Refugee Talk, the podcast itself, it's a registered charity. I should mention registered charity in BC. It all started from the pain of displacement around the world that has been happening for the past couple of years. It wasn't on a podcast in the beginning. It was just helping displaced people in north part of Afghanistan that I was working in refugee camps. Camps that I used to teach kids. And then when I became a refugee in Turkey, I turned to a podcast and I started sharing my own stories and the other folks' story. And coming to Canada, I was like, I want to build up, I want to make it, I want to register it as a nonprofit that amazing folks are working right now. Due to funding, we don't have any physical office or any of that, but hopefully we get it in future.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And the reason, as answering to your question, Matijan, the reason Refugee Talk was made, it was because to show the resilience of refugees and asylum seekers. Their story, their struggles, their resilience, and how they cross the borders, how they start their life in the new country with a new language, new religion, new food, new system, new friend, new house.
Everything new.
Everything is new.
You have to go through a lot.
Yeah.
So what would be the main message that you want to listeners to get from these podcasts?
Yeah, thank you. I always mention, Matijan, that voices can cross borders. Events can stay in one place, but voices, videos crosses the borders. It goes from Canada to Asia. It goes from Canada to Africa. It goes from Africa to the Europe. It goes from Canada to even Mars if people are listening there. Voices crosses the borders, and there's nothing that can stop voices, especially refugees' voices. That is something that always inspired me, and I always advocate, go for it, record and publish it.
Exactly, that's great. You don't know that small thing, a mobile can do a lot of things, because nowadays everyone is using a phone to do anything.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I'm getting inspired by you. Okay.
High five.
We know that you have been invited to United Nations to talk about refugees. How was it to stand there as someone who have came as a refugee, and now he's representing millions of refugees around the world. And what was the message? Can you tell us about it?
Sure. Thank you so much. I feel like one of the big achievements in my life that I did, and I still cannot believe, Matijan, that I went to United Nations and I spoke about the culture shock and the mental health of refugees and newcomers and asylum seekers, and also the struggles of youth, the new generation that are in their 20s and newcomers. I want to mention that I could not even imagine, because when I was a refugee, I could only see United Nations in TV, and I could see people making decisions about us, people giving opportunities, or people closing borders, or people bringing new policies in United Nations about us. And one day, I would have never thought one day I would be sitting right next to the tables where decision makers are right next to me, and I sit on the other side. And that day happened in 2025. And when I went there, Matijan, I could not believe. I thought I'm dreaming, but that was reality.
We're really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And when I sat there, I spoke like a leader. I spoke to represent myself and the folks that are in a refugee camp right now. The folks that are waiting to evacuate from Iran, from Afghanistan, from Tajikistan, from South Sudan, those beautiful children or amazing refugees that are in refugee camps in Kenya. I want to tell you that I spoke for you all. I spoke for each and every one of you. And whenever I get a chance, that I speak about each and every one of you that are in a refugee camp. And I want you to stay strong. Raise your voices from there.
Exactly.
You don't have to be at the UN to raise your voices. As Mate mentioned, right now, the cell phone that we have, that says UN itself. UN watches you. Record a video and tag UN.
Put a hashtag UN
Put a hashtag.
Or something.
Yeah.
You're very active. I really love it.
Thank you.
So I have seen that you're like doing a lot of making videos about like global causes, about like Ocean Day, about homeless people. And why do you feel it's important that you should make these videos? To make awareness or what?
Thank you so much. I feel like there were times that I grew up in the north part of Afghanistan that was full of pollution, plastics, and oftentimes breathing was even difficult for me. I was like, why is this causing? What is happening? Possibly this is only happening in north part of Afghanistan. And when I traveled the world, I saw this is not only Afghanistan, but it's happening all over the world. And I understood, as a human being, as someone who speaks for refugees, and I want to speak about the climate as well. Because if I'm not able to breathe the place, the planet Earth that I was born, the next generations will not also be able to breathe in or breathe out. That is the same reason I founded International Young Climate Network. You can take a look at it. It's on Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn.
Make sure to go and check his Instagram. You can find him by hashtag Refugee Talk.
Yes, and also
or hashtag Milad Rajabi.
Milad Rajabi official.
Official, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's my personal account. And for the International Young Climate Network, we talk about conservations, 30 by 30, pollution. And one of the important things that we are doing, Matijan, and International Young Climate Network is we have a campaign. The name of the campaign is Paint the Future. And the folks that are hearing from me, right now behind this screen, join me in this campaign. Paint the Future campaign. What is the meaning of this? I want you to paint the future that you want to live in. What kind of future do you want to live in? Somewhere peaceful, somewhere full of trees, without pollution, without plastic, not so much of AI that takes our jobs.
That's amazing, actually. I'm digging into meditation and stuff. And also, one of the things that helps a lot is if you could imagine your future, if you could imagine the point that you want to be, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
You should always be positive.
Right. Yeah.
So if you could, I know there's a lot of things, but if you could change just one thing in the Canadian immigration system or in the society that you're living, what it would be?
I would definitely say Bill C-12. Bill C-12 is the new bill that has been passed by the House of Commons in March. I forgot what date was that. That was the time that brought a huge change in the history of Canada. And you cannot imagine how much I love Canada. And at the same time, after Bill C-12, I feel like, why would this happen in Canada? And the reason, because Canada is a country and was a country, and still I believe it is, that welcomed everyone, asylum seekers, refugees, people who had a problem with in their home country. Canada welcomed everyone and is still welcoming. But this Bill C-12, this bill brings a lot of policies that refugees cannot cross the borders. If they can cross, they have to go through a pro-application process, or a lot of policies took place. I would definitely change this. On the other side, I would also change one more thing. I want the immigration system to teach refugees and newcomers a lot about the culture shock in this country. I want IRCC to take initiative, which they're already doing an amazing job. IRCC, you're doing an amazing job, and I know. At the same time, I want you to take initiative. People, the folks that are coming from other countries, like evacuation, like the permanent residents that are coming, teach them to teach the culture shock. Teach them about the cultures in Canada, so that once they land in Canada, they don't have to see everything as a shocking. Teach them about the weather, teach them about the culture, food, religion, the diversity, the beautiful people's mentality, the neighbors. Everything is new for them, right? That's
exactly. Actually, I think it's supposed to be start before coming to Canada, because the program they had, even for us, it was like 1 month in advance. They had a program that we supposed to go through and learn everything. But what happened when we arrived here, they give us that program, which was like already we were here, but they were in a rush since there was a problem on that time.
Right.
Okay. So what is your main message to a newcomer or someone who is watching us right now and is stuck in a survival job, don't know what to do, and they're like hopeless?
I have one message to refugee claimants and newcomers in Canada. You are one win away. You are one win away. I want you to go knock that door, apply for that job, get that scholarship, build up your education, build up that connection, and go for what you want. And there is, you need one more step. If that step will end tomorrow, there you go. And even if that step takes 5 years, have patience. If that step takes 10 years, have patience. Because after every dark night, there's a sunlight in the next morning.
And there is a hope.
And there's a hope.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Milad John, for being here and sharing your lovely story and roadmap and everything. We are really amazed. And I know people will love it, and they're going to use these things and these tips for themselves as well. So never give up, guys. Always think positive. So to our viewers, if you want to support more like in your community, go and share his page, Vancouver Talk Mate, and no, Refugee Talk. And also you can check our next podcast and hashtag Refugee Talk or hashtag Vancouver Talk Mate. You will find all of the episodes. I'm sorry, I'm just like mixing it up.
It's all right.
So Refugee Talk for him, And also for my project and podcast, if you want to like cover all those like points, that if you want to gain hope, find your way, if you want to become something, and we have a lot of guests from different places that they're working, we will share what are the tips, how they became successful, and then you can find them at hashtag Vancouver Talk Mate, that I will be your host, matiibrahimi. Please make sure to share these episodes with the friends that you think that they will benefit from it. And I'm really happy that I will do this for you guys to have a great future. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Woo!